is more about Albert Bandura's. Okay. Okay. Okay, that is how they were correlating between the elements of Earth and the fluids or the humors of our body. Next, we are going to Gordon Allport. When we are discussing about personality itself, these people have given their own definitions. I think if you have attended that class, I was giving Allport definition of personality and Hippocrates definition of personality, Raymond Cattell definition of personality. So we are going to deal. Niru, can you please go to that room? So now we are going to see about Gordon Allport personality. He's an American psychologist. He developed the first comprehensive modern trait theory. Generally, these trait theory, he gave a lot of contribution to it. What he was actually doing was he was analyzing. It was a longitudinal study done by him, and he was dealing with many different types of characters in that time. He investigated almost like 18,000 separate terms has been coined by him, but we cannot put every people's nature or personality into that many that many divisions. So what he did is he did a factor analysis, and he cut shorted and he grouped and he omitted. He was doing all those filtering work, and later he has bring it to 4,500 terms of personality characteristics. Again, it was a huge number. Then what he made is he started to grouping those 4,500 terms into three main groups. Those groups are called as cardinal traits, central traits, and secondary traits. From the name itself, we can understand cardinal. Cardinal means very important. It is vital. It is very prominent, leading. It is like main thing. It is like basic thing. So cardinal trait is very, very important trait. So it was like a single pervading or predominant characteristics of an individual. So that will be the identification or the what to say, the important character of an individual. That will be the highlighted a definition given for an individual. We can say example like a Hitler. Hitler means we know he's one of the cardinal character of Hitler is what to say, very arrogant. He's very cold. He's very not having any empathy towards those people. So that was the character of an Hitler. We can also go for a nice example like Mother Teresa. Her altruism can be taken as a cardinal trait. Altruism is nothing but selflessness. So these are the predominant character of an individual, and these characteristics are called as cardinal traits. So every individual will have a cardinal trait, but how strong they are going to have depends upon many factors. Next comes the central trait. Central trait are nothing but we can daily see the qualities or characteristics or the personality on a daily basis. Like if he is honest, or if he is very gentle, if he is very soft natured, very, very friendly nature, very kind hearted person. These are the central traits of an individual. And it also differentiate one person from other person. Cardinal trait is predominant. That is like a hallmark sign. But the central trait is like the personality of an individual, and it differs from person to person, and it is distinguish this person from the other person. And this is the usual way, like how people daily living, what are the characters they show it out, what are the personality traits they show it out. These are called as central traits. But it doesn't mean that everyone will have many number of central traits. Few will be there, few will not be there. So this is the second classification of Alport's personality disposition. The third thing is the secondary traits. As the name itself suggests that it is secondary. It is like it will come only on a specific situation. It is on a surface level trait, and it will come like only when it is needed, or only when it is really mandatory, or when you are pushed to, or when you are faced to certain situations. These characteristics will come out, like a shyness or an anxiety, irritability, short tempered. When you are pushed to such a situation, the way you react, it is called a secondary trait. It is a very less important characteristics of an individual, but it affects the situations of the individual. And we can say like the special preferences of the individuals also considered as a secondary. In our book, they're giving examples like the likeliness towards your perfume. You may like one flavor, I may like one aroma. Some will be like fruity flavor will be someone's specialty. Some will have a floral flavor. Some will have a no musky flavor. So the fondness or the what to say, the likes and dislikes of the people can be taken as secondary trait also. This was the example given in the book for our secondary traits. So this was about Gordon Allport. When we talk about Gordon Allport, we have to talk about these three traits: cardinal traits, central traits, and secondary traits. Am I fast? I can go with the same speed. Is everything clear? And can I move on?
Yes, you can move on. That's
Okay.
okay for me also.
Okay. If you have any doubt, just let me know then and there. Next is Raymond Cattle's way of perspective. So we are going to go for Raymond's Cattle. See what Raymond's Cattle did was, like Alpert, he was also the contemporary of Alpert psychologist. He further decreased those Alpert's 4,500 terms. No, he has coined those the terms based on this factor analysis he did. No, he also did the same factor analysis method. He further cut short that based on the likeliness and the similarity between different terminologies. And after a point of time, he also what he said, he observed and related to one particular behavior, and then he also cut shorted it, and he cut shorted with so many procedures he did. He finally came with 16 traits. This 16 traits are also called as surface traits, as we said right now. No, when you are exposed to some situation, or when you have given one scenario, how you will react, what will be your answer, or what will be the choice of your action, or what will be the choice of your words. Those things are coming under this 16 factors. And this 16 factors is what is called as 16 PF, 16 personality factor. When we go online and when we search 16 PF questionnaire, means this questionnaire will come. In the 16 categories of questions are there. See, I'm showing it right now. No, these are those 16 factors in that. They are starting with warmth, reasoning. These are all not in the book. I'm just giving it for our own reference purpose. They have just given a word of 16 personality factor question. So this is factor. We can do it online also, and it is like this questionnaire has got a lot of reliability and validity, because whenever you take it, it will be the what the output of the result, or the result will be the same depending upon, you have to genuinely answer for that. You cannot keep changing your answers. That should be taken into an account. So in that, it is like a semantic scale. You have been given a range from low to high. Depending upon where you are choosing, you will be described as your reserved personality or an outgoing personality, less intelligent or more intelligent. Like that, the scale goes from low to high. When you're going with a low scale value, the reserved thing will be coming. When you're going on a high value, you are more outspoken, more outgoing, more intelligent, depending upon the categories we have right now. You will be getting the answer. So this was about the Raymond Cattell. He designed the 16 personality factor questionnaire. Next comes in our book is the other psychologist. His name is Hans Eisneck, and he was talking about three dimensions. Okay, sir. So we were talking about Eysenck personality theory. In that, he has given initially he has given two dimensions, and later the third dimension has been added up. Then if the first dimension is introversion and introvert will be very calm, quite passive, very aloof. They wanted to be alone. They get energy when they are alone. Whereas the exact opposite of extroverted people, they are outgoing, very social, very active, very friendly. They love to be in groups. Always groups excites them. Groups gives them energy. They like to go for an outing, party. Those were the extrovert characteristics. The second dimension he was talking about was neuroticism and stability. The neuroticism means highly irritable, very moody, very touchy, very sensitive. Those categories of personality will be coming in the neuroticism, whereas stability is people will be very calm minded, they'll be highly careful, they'll be very stable, they cannot be easily triggered, or they cannot be easily, you know, what to say, disturb their mood. They'll be highly even tempered, optimistic. These characteristics or examples has been given for stability. After that, he was also giving a third dimension, that is nothing but psychoticism. In this, There is no other extremes in psychoticism. If you have more of psychoticism, you will be an antisocial person, you will be more cold, you will be highly impulsive, highly irritable, you will be, what to say, you will be on extremes of a bad end. Whereas if you have a less amount of score in psychoticism, you will be very warm, caring person. It is like more like extrovert introvert, but he has given another terminology of psychoticism with a higher value and a lower value. This was a theory proposed by Einstein. So he was talking about these three dimensions. Next, we are going to move to the contemporary theory that is has been agreed by everyone. That is called big factor personality model theory, and this was given by Robert McRae and Costa. So we will read this as Costa and McRae, if I'm right, I'm pronouncing his name rightly. Costa and McRae's Big Five personality theory. Till now, we are following this theory only for personality in many areas. So this is called as Big Five personality theory. And again, we have read enough amount of this in our TCP paper in our first sem. I'm going to give you a small explanations, brief explanation about this. He was talking about five factors. Big Five itself, name itself suggests we are talking about five factors, and the mnemonic for this is ocean. O for openness, C for conscientiousness, E for extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. So in this also, he was talking about low score and high score. So when you take this, how much a person is getting in the score? Again, it is like more of a semantic scale. You will be answered based on the questions they have framed. When you get a low score in that particular area, you will be having these are the characteristics you will have. If you have high scores, these are the characteristics you will have. So that is how he was telling about personality. Various combinations of people will be there. It is not that one person will always open or highly open. There will be always a combination of these characters in every individual. So when you have a high score in openness to experience, you'll be highly imaginative. All good traits will be coming. Highly imaginative. You have wide amount of interest, broad range of interest, willing to try new things because it's openness to experience. You are willing to any new ideas. You are highly creative. You are highly motivated to do something new. Every always it will strike an spark in you to try something. So these are the people who have high score on the openness. You will be
ஏன்
always
அவங்க நந்தியம்பாக்கம்ல தான் ஏறுவாங்க அவங்க நந்தியம்பாக்கம்ல தான் ஏறுவாங்க
Arti, mute பண்ணிக்கோங்க Arti. And when you have low score in your openness, it will be like your straightforward personality. You prefer more amount of familiarity. You prefer more amount of routine. You were not open for trying some new or novel thing. You'll be highly conservative. So in our book, we were talking about high scores and low scores on all these five levels. They were also giving some examples like people who travel to new places with they are coming under high scores. People who are sticking to their routine, doing their own work and setting a routine and following that will be coming under low score of openness. Next comes a conscientiousness. I have to pronounce it very clearly. This is a kind of a tongue twister for me. When you have a high score in your conscientiousness, you will be highly self-disciplined, highly dutiful. You are very conscious. You will be highly, what to say, Mr. Perfect model. You are well organized. You will have a planned behavior. You will do, the plan A, plan B, and according to that routine you will follow. When you have low score in that conscientiousness, you will be highly disorganized. You will be a messy person. You will postpone things. You will wait for the deadlines to finish. You don't have an responsibility to finish your work. This is what the low score of conscientiousness has been described. Next comes the E. E is for extroversion. Again, it is the same characteristics of extrovert model. You will have high score means highly motivated people. I have social environments and social outings and gatherings will give you energy. You will be highly what to say, outgoing, and you will be warm. You will be ready to mingle with people. All those extrovert characters will have high scores. The introverts, like less social, low key profile people, especially book readers, who people who love to be in aloof, they want their own me time, those people will be coming under low score of extroversion. That is nothing but the introversion. Next is agreeableness. Agreeableness is, it is more like what to say, you are agreeing for everything. You are highly adjustable. In that, if you have an high score in agreeableness, you are trustworthy people, you are healthy helpful people, kind, considerate, generous, compromising, all these words synonymous to agreeableness you can use for high score. All the words which is not synonymous, opposite to the word of agreeableness, you can use as for a low score in that agreeableness. Very self-important people, you don't have any compromises, you will be very unfriendly, you want your work to be done for your. Just a minute. Sorry. um what I was saying, yeah, they are highly unfriendly people. They have their own self importance is what has been concerned for them. The example which we can give in our book, I think it is there in our book. I don't know whether I've read it from the book or not. Sherlock Holmes has been given as example in our book for less agreeableness of the person. So the next, the N is for neuroticism. Again, the scale has a high score, means you have, but the ulta will happen in neuroticism. If you have high score in it, all negative characters will come, whereas the low score gives you the positive characters. In high score, people will be have negative emotions, anger, depression, anxiety, irritableness, emotional instability, impatience. Every negative character will be coming with high score neuroticism, whereas in low score, exact opposite. They are highly stable people, very calm people, very what to say, very friendly people. They'll handle every situations and criticism in open handed. They will never get upset, they'll never get affected by other people words. So these are the low score of a neuroticism. Like zen mode people, they will not get affected with anything, they'll just go with their own mind, because they're highly stable. Nothing from the environment they will not let any environmental changes or people or situations affect their own mental state. So this is the low score value or low score personality traits of an neuroticism. So this is what we are talking about in big five personality theory that has been given by Costa and McRae. These are all the things they have been covered in our type trait theories in our book. I'm going to summarize again. So we are starting with Hippocrates. He was talking about four fluids in our body, and based on the high fluid level, their personality will be determined. So the first one is sanguine, that is blood. Melancholic, black bile will be more. Cholergic means yellow bile will be more. Phlegmatic means phlegm will be more. Next is Gordon Allport. He was dealing with many different thousands of characteristics, and he cut shorted into thousands to hundreds, and then from hundreds to main three has been defined by him: cardinal trait, central trait, and secondary trait. Next comes the Raymond Cattell. He was also doing the same work of Gordon Allport to those thousands of personality trait names, and he came to a conclusion of 16 factor personality theory factor questionnaire model. Next comes is Hans Eysenck. He was talking about three dimensions of personality. The first dimension was introversion, extroversion. The second one is neuroticism and stability. And the third one is psychotism. In the psychoticism, you have high score and low score. Next comes the five big factor personality model, the ocean model. Right now we have seen that was given by McRae and Costa. Now we are going to move to type approaches. So these are the trait approaches. What is the difference between trait and type approaches? Is in type approach, they'll see more of a general characteristics, and they were talking about the type. They are mostly in type characters. They are talking about the physique of the person based on the temperament they are designing. Whereas in trait model, they were concerned about the traits of an individual, what they have highly, more in their what they were exposing, what they were showing, what they were focused, outgoingly, what they are seen has been dealt in trait model. Now we are going to move to type approaches. In type approaches, we are going to see many types of approaches, but in our book, we are going to deal with Young's type approach and Ernest. If I'm right, I'm pronouncing it correctly, means Ernest Kretschmer's classification and Williams Sheldon's classification, plus type A and type B personality by Mayer and Rosenmans. Only four types of theories we are going to see. Even in some other book, Hippocrates we were reading right now, no, the four fluids, that also comes under type approach only. But they have given under trait. I'm not very sure. If anyone has idea about why it has given, just please clarify me, because in one of the personality book I have seen Hippocrates, because he was also talking about body nature rather than trait. So he that also coming under type approaches. So now we are going to go with Young's classification. In Young's classification, he was talking about introvert, extrovert, and ambivert model. As I have already mentioned, the same thing is going to happen here again. But they are saying neither a person can be introvert completely nor a person can be extrovert completely. Always 70 to 80% of the people will be ambivert. He explained the term called ambivert, that is a mixture of both introvert and extrovert. We have seen enough about introverts and extroverts characteristics. Ambiverts is nothing but the combination of both. In our society also, like as I said, 80 to 90% of people will be ambivert. They'll have both the characteristics of introverts and extroverts. This was about Young's classification, and Young classified this based on the sociability character. In type approach, they were talking more about physique and temperament. But in Young's classification, it was mostly on the sociable character of an individual. Based on that, he was describing the personality of an individual. Next comes Ernest Kretzmer's classification. In Ernest Kretzmer's classification, he was talking about four different groups. He was talking about how he can divide these four different things. He was actually he was working on a mental patients by that time. He was a German psychologist, and he was doing some research with their mental patients. He was actually using those mental patients, and he was typecasting depending upon the physique of the patient, what type of mental problems a person may have. That was the theory which has been proposed by Ernest. He was dividing this classification based upon the body nature, like picnic type, athletic type, asthenic type, and dysplastic type. In picnic type, it is nothing but they were talking about. See, I think in the last class I was talking about ectomorphic, endomorph, and mesomorph. If not, also this is also the same thing. In picnic type, he was talking about a person is more of similar to endomorphic nature. They are short people. They are what to say? They are very short and stout people. They are more of an plumpy people. So those people, it has been given very, 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 very short in our book. If you have wanted to read much more, means there are nice books available. I'll say the name little later in the end of the session. But what have been given in our book, that only I'm going to consider right now. So what he was telling is these picnic type of people will have a problem of maniac depression psychosis, MDP. Since he conducted the study of mental patients or mentally disabled patients, he is coming with mental disorders. He was not talking about personality more, rather this group of people or this type of body build will have this type of mental problems. This type of body build have this type of men. This was the actual thing which has been given by Ernest. So this endomorphic or the picnic people will have more of an maniac depression psychosis, whereas the asthenic is similar to ectomorph people. So they were slender, tall, and slim people. 1 minute. Sorry, that was my son. Asthenic people, that is similar to ectomorphic people. They were slender, slim, and tall, and they have the qualities of introvert people nature, and they will have schizophrenic problem more than maniac disorders. Then he was talking about athletic type. Athletic type is like mesomorph people. They are highly muscular in nature. All the muscles will be toned, and they have a very strong body. They have energetic and aggressive people, and they were like ambiverts. Like picnic people or endomorph, they will have extrovert nature. They will have maniac problem. Asthenic people or ectomorphic in nature, slender, tall, and slim people. They have introverts and they'll have schizophrenic problem. Whereas athletic people are nicely built, very muscular and strong body, energetic and aggressive people. They are ambiverts in nature, and they also have maniac depression psychosis. I don't know why they are talking about these mental illnesses over here. That is because how I took it in a way is Just because he did the study on mentally disabled people, he was dealing with all these mental disorders also. The fourth type is dysplastic people. This itself is dysfunctional, or here it has been given as DIS, but in many books it was DYS. So this is nothing in or it is different, or it is not in order, or it is reduced, not normal actually. So dysplastic is, they are unproportionate people. They don't have balances between the personality traits. Both the behaviors and the personality are unbalanced in these type of group. So they are called dysplastic people. Because of lot of hormonal problems, there will be unproportionate body, and they will never come under any of the three above whatever I said. They are different category, and we cannot able to say what type of mental problems they will suffer. That they have not given properly in our book also. So basically these were the four categories which has been described by Ernest. Next comes the Sheldon's classification.
Shubha, on doubt,
Yeah.
please, sorry for the interact. What is the MDP? Explain it.
Maniac depression psychosis.
ஓகே பட் அதான் அது எப்படி யாருக்காக எப்படி வரும் அது ஹார்மோனல் டிசீஸ் தான் அந்த மாதிரி கேக்குறேன்.
No. Maniac means what they'll have. They'll have a high, what to say? They'll have a high love towards one thing. Sometimes they'll be highly, um, what a very extreme behavior will be there. Schizophrenic
Okay.
is like the two different personalities will come and go one period of time, another period of time. Whereas this maniac people will be like highly extreme. They'll exhibit their things in a highly what to say, in an extreme levels of expression of their love or anger. Whatever they show, it will be in extreme. That is called maniac.
Okay. Thank you,
Okay,
Subha.
very violent behavior, or very what to say, wild in nature. Whatever they show, it will be like more of extremes, not like a balanced or agreeable way. That is the more of maniac depression.
And why the athletic type அப்படின்னு athletic people கூட இந்த இதுல வந்து
No, it is not
affect
about
ஆவாங்க
what we
அப்படின்னு.
think. It is only the classification of body. It is nothing to do with our mind. These are all mental problems which have problem in their brain, and those all other issues in their behaviors. This should not be compared with only body type. When this body type is there, means definitely they'll have this problem. We cannot come to a conclusion. This was given only little in our book. We have to need to study more about it. Since I was, how I understood is, since he has done the study on a very closed group of mental disorder people, he classified based on that. Not like every endomorph will have this problem. There is no generalization. He was telling about these problems are predominant in this body category. It doesn't mean the vice versa. This body category will have definitely this type of problem. It's not given in like that. The maniac problem will be more in this kind of people. That was been given in the book. Not like every individual will end up with maniac problem or a schizophrenic problem. It was a study. It was his way of defining the personality from his point of view. But right now we are not accepting all these things. We are more of using big five personality theory only. These are all those theories which has been given by different people.
Okay, Subha.
Kalyan?
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So now we are going to move to Williams Sheldon's classification. He was classifying personality based on the temperament and again
Subha?
body type.
Subha,
Yeah.
how
Yeah,
schizophrenia differs from bipolar disorder?
bipolar is only like two different expression, whereas in schizophrenia they will have what to say, it is completely different thoughts and behaviors alone will be like, and they'll have little of a speech problem in schizophrenia. Behavior, more of a behavior problem will be there, whereas in bipolar it is like I think Kalai will take the right example. This three movie, no, she was already telling that a bipolar is also a maniac depression only, but it is like
Subhashi,
they have a lot of mood swings in that.
Subhashini,
Hello.
you're saying
Okay,
that
okay. Subha.
once again,
Sorry?
repeat again, please. A lot of noise in there, so we can understand what you said that.
See, this bipolar disorder is they'll have two different types of personality. They'll be highly calm, quiet in one time. They'll be highly aggressive, highly unstable the other time. That is like bipolar. Two different exhibitants of nature will be there. Both the extremes will be exhibited depending upon the scenario. Whereas in maniac, it will
Like
be
like
highly.
onion, like onion, for example.
Onion is multipolar. It is not only two. They were showing three different personalities in
But
Onion.
அந்த மாதிரியான்னு கேக்குறேன். அந்த மாதிரி டூ பர்சன்ஸோட கேரக்டர் ஒருத்தரோட உடம்புக்குள்ள இருக்கும் அப்படின்ற மாதிரியா?
இருக்கும். It is not about the body, it is about your mind. Yeah. Yeah, please, sir. Please. Exactly. And sometimes they may not even know that they are behaving in a different way. அப்படி அவங்களுக்கு தெரியவும் தெரியாது பைபோலார்ல. Some category of people, they are not aware that they are differently reacting until and unless it has been explained to them. They may not know they are actually living a dual life ன்றது they may not be aware of. Exactly.
Okay, thank you, sir, and thank you, Subha.
I think maybe Santosh can explain this in a much more easy terminology if he is in class. I don't know whether he is in class or not.
ஓகே, இதே மாதிரி ஒரு சித்தார்த் ஒருத்தர் ஒரு படம், அது ஒரு படம் நடிச்சிருப்பாரு. ஒரு ஹீரோவாவும் அப்படியே ஒரு அதான் ஏதோ சம்திங் ஒரு பிளாக்கா இருக்கிற ஒரு பர்சனாவும், பட் அந்த பர்சனா இருக்கிறாருன்றது அவருக்கு தெரியவே தெரியாது. அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு மூவி யாராச்சும்?
No, but that is again, Sukumar sir சொன்ன மாதிரி, that is multiple personality. That is not bipolar.
கேரக்டர் மட்டும்தான் இருக்கும் அதுல. அதாவது
Bipolar is Dhanush character in 3 movie. He will be like different in presence of Shruti, and he will hurt the same person he loves also. That is more of a bipolar disorder. He can be calm and quiet at the same time. He'll be aggressive on the other end.
ஓகே 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 ஓகே,
Multiple
தேங்க்யூ
disorder.
சுபா.
Yes. Ah. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm.
But then that doesn't come under bipolar, no, Sukumar sir? Because
He was talking about twin syndrome. Mm.
yeah, because that will not be, yeah, no, yeah, exactly. That won't come under bipolar. That's what I was trying to say. Okay. All right.
ஓகே ஓகே, லெட் மூவ் ஆன் டாபிக் சுபா. நான் ரொம்ப நேரம் எடுத்துக்கிறேன்னு நினைக்கிறேன் டைம்.
No. It is good,
No, it's
Kalai.
okay. It is a good knowledge for all of us also, Kalai. So it's okay.
I'll refer much more and I'll give exact the differences between these 3 disorders. Okay. Give me some time. Maybe tomorrow I'll clarify with much detailed explanation, Kalai.
Subhashini madam,
Thank you.
this is Santosh actually. And as Sugma said, how we actually see it is we have something called mood disorders. Mood disorders, நீங்க சொன்ன மாதிரி வந்து bipolar, டிப்ரெஷன் இல்லை மேனியாக் அந்த மாதிரி டிஃபரன்ஷியேட் பண்ணுவோம். And these kind of, there are a group of other diseases we call personality disorders. Personality disordersல we get the multi-personality, bi-personality, அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கிறத we differentiate. We don't actually connect between these two. That is entirely in a different spectrum. Mood disorder is an entirely different spectrum.
Okay.
Thank you, Santosh.
Thank you, sir. I was looking for this kind
Yeah, that gave a clarity, no, Shubha? Yeah.
So schizophrenia comes under personality or mood disorder, sir?
Which one?
Schizophrenia.
Schizophrenia. It comes under
mood, if I'm right.
Yeah. Schizophrenia actually comes in mood disorder, but it is not only a mood disorder. Schizophrenia is a complex of, it is a complex disease. So where psychotic behavior is also involved on it. So it's much more, we will have hallucinations. We have even personality disorder also can come. It is, schizophrenia itself is a complex situation. So it is a separate disease with a lot of factors in which schizophrenic patients can have mood disorders also. They can also exhibit personality disorders also. So we actually see schizophrenia as a, So that's right. We usually see schizophrenic disorder as a spectrum of problem having in one person.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Santosh sir.
Welcome.
So we were talking about these disorders. The Sheldon's classification is just like the same we were discussing before: ectomorph, mesomorph, and endomorph. Only the terminology is getting differed. Apart from that, all the characteristics are exactly the similar. And there it is. They are also what to say. It is only the terminology. As I said, only the terminology alone differs from person to person. This was put forth by Sheldon's thing, and he was describing the personality of an individual based on the body type, like well built or thin built or what to say, very muscular in nature. That was the body built he was talking about. Next, it was about the last trait theory, type theory we are going to see is type A theory and type B theory. This was put forth by Mayers, Friedman, and Ray Rosenman. We usually say Mayers and Rosenman's theory. This is main classification. Till now we are using it like type A personality and type B personality. Type A, they were actually cardiologists. That is why they were classifying this into type A and type B, as I'm going to describe. Type A is highly organized people, impatient people, a very what to say, very strict thing. They wanted to be done in certain way, means they have to be done in certain way. They are highly workaholic people. They want everything to be in this order, means that should be there, happen in that order. Though those are called as type A personality, whereas type B personality is they are very easygoing people. They don't have anything to be done at that particular time or the particular fashion. They are stress free people. They are what to say, they'll go with the flow. They won't take a lot of pressure to finish a work. Those categorization comes under type B personality. When we have type A personality, we usually they have more likelihood to have an heart attack, because they are stressing themselves more. So even when we write about the demographic data, when we write about all these things, we'll say in a cardiologist section, they'll say type A personality will have more likely to have an heart attack, because they compel themselves more.
Subashini, I have a doubt, Subashini.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it is the right time to ask this question. நீங்க இப்போ பர்சனாலிட்டின்னு பேசும்போது, some people had அவங்களுக்கு ஏதோ பிடிச்சிருக்கு, இட்ஸ் லைக் அவங்க ஒரு மாதிரி பிஹேவ் பண்றாங்க, பேய் பிடிச்சிருக்கு அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி ஒரு சினாரியோ போயிட்டே இருக்கு இல்லையா டெய்லி லைஃப்ல. அதை எப்படி how we are going to handle this, அது புரியல. அது பிசிக்கலி நியூரலாஜிக்கல் ப்ராப்ளமா இருக்குமா, இல்ல இது பர்சனாலிட்டி ப்ராப்ளமா? how we can clarify it?
அந்த காலத்துல they have given a very common general term called பேய் பிடிச்சிருக்குன்னு சொல்லியிருக்காங்க ஆர்த்தி. பட் அண்டர் தட் யூ ஹேவ் லாட் ஆஃப் பர்சனாலிட்டி அண்ட் மூட் ப்ராப்ளம் லைக் திஸ் மேனியாக் டிப்ரெஷன், திஸ் ஸ்கிசோஃப்ரீனியா, மல்டிபிள் பர்சனாலிட்டி, இது எல்லாமே கூட இந்த சாமி ஆடுறவங்க எல்லாம் கூட இந்த மல்டிபிள் பர்சனாலிட்டி டிஸார்டர் கீழே வரவங்க தான்.
Yes, Subhashini, whether I just want to know whether it will be a personality disorder or neurological problem. It will be mixed. I don't know.
It depends upon person to person. We have to assess Aarti. We cannot simply say definitely personality disorder will be there or neurological problem. They can have both. They can have only behavioral problem, or they simply wanted to escape from their situation. They use that as a defense mechanism. It is a combination of many things put forth together. We may not know what exactly happening until and unless we assess the person thoroughly. ஒரு பேய் பிடிச்சிக்கிறவங்களுக்கு கண்டிப்பா பர்சனாலிட்டி ப்ராப்ளம் தான் இருக்கு, அவங்களுக்கு மூட் ப்ராப்ளம் மட்டும் தான் இருக்கு, அவங்களுக்கு நியூரலாஜிக்கல் ப்ராப்ளமும் இருக்கு அப்படின்னு நம்ம அசஸ் பண்ணாம சொல்ல முடியாது. we have to do some tests, we have to do some assessment, then only we can say what might be the source for this kind of behavior problem or whatever problem they are exhibiting on that particular scenario or that particular period of time. We have to assess. We cannot blindly say definitely it will be there, definitely it won't be there. We can't say. That is my opinion.
Okay. Subhashini. Okay. Fine. Thank you, sir. Actually, I learned more in MSc யோகா. அதில் என்ன சொல்லியிருக்காங்க, ஸ்பிரிச்சுவாலிட்டியில் ஐ லேர்ன் சம்திங் அபவுட் இட். அதனால இப்போ ஸ்ட்ரைக் ஆச்சு.
That will come under supernatural, as Sukumar sir said. We may not know. As a defense mechanism also they can use it. Just to have power, just to exhibit power, just to have hold of the family, the society, the place. They can also exhibit these type of characters to showcase their power, and they want certain things to be done in their own way. Means they can go into that form of expression, and they can do whatever they wanted to be done in that way. So it is more. It is a very deep topic, Aarti.
Okay, Subhashini. Thank you. You carry on. Thank you. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, this was the last thing to be covered with this chapter: type A personality and type B personality. So with this, we are finishing trait and type theories. Okay, in type theories, we spoke about Young's classification, that is extrovert, introvert, and ambivert, and Ernest classification, picnic type, asthenic type, athletic type, and dysplastic type. And last is William Sheldon's classification, ectomorph, endomorph, and mesomorph. Finally, with Mayers and Rosenman, it was type A and type B personality. These are the type personality, and it is all, see, remember, body type. So whenever we are going to talk about type theory, we have to talk about the body type of the person, and then with that we are going to end up with, or we are going to coin how the personality of an individual will be. That was what they are dealing with, the type personality. Whereas in trait personality, it is all about the traits of an individual. Based on that, what will be the personality of an individual, that was given by all other psychologists. So this is what is type and trait personality. Is there any doubt? Yes, Sukumar sir. Yes. No. Mm. Mm. Yes. That is why the big factor theory alone has been given as a contemporary theory, modern theory, because we are using it till now, and many of the things are getting matched with that theory. This type A type B personality is also matching. That is why it is still now we are using that theory. All others are those periods classification and those person's point of view. Since it has been covered in our syllabus, we have to read like as they have given. Mm-hmm.
சுகுமார் சார், நீங்க எக்ஸ்ட்ரோவர்ட்டா இருக்கிறதுனால தான் அவங்க இன்ட்ரோவர்ட்டா இருக்காங்க.
This is what I bet to differ, Sukumar sir. You may not be a complete extrovert. You almost 90. Because we are all ambiverts. We are all ambiverts. So mostly we'll have both the qualities of an extrovert and an introvert. If not only use any of will be an extrovert, we will say we'll say how irresponsible these people are, how very how to say some other in this society or the scenario right now we are in, we'll get more amount of criticisms and whatever they see. Even if you're extrovert, we will get criticism. Even if you're an introvert, we will get. Even if you are ambivert, it is not with us. It is with the point of view of the other person. So true.
Subashini,
Mr. Sukumar.
what is the